Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Baseball. Saturday Baseball. So fun, right? I love it. Okay. So, checking the chat room to see how everybody's doing today. Matt Hooper, hi, nice to see you. Jamie Gates was here. Lenny's here, of course. Lenny's always here because he's my best fan. We're going to talk about waiver wire pickups. We're going to talk some nuggets, and let's just get on with it right away. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the nuggets. Nuggets, they came from, well, never mind. They came from me and Lenny, but Lenny loves nuggets. So, I mean, I don't know what he would do if, like, one day of the week we didn't actually do a podcast so that he could actually talk about his nuggets or have somebody talk about his nuggets. But every single day of the week, Lenny is getting nuggets for, like, I don't know, 25 years now. So, morning, Malpal. Nice to see you. The MLB batting average is the lowest it's ever been right now. It's 232. It's never been this low. In 2008, 42% of swings put balls in play. This year, it's 35.4%. Also, in 2008, that must have been the last lowest batting average. The swing and miss percent was 20, and this year it's 27.3. It's absolutely ridiculous. So they go, I mean, MLB wants to change all these things. They say we're going to change the ball. We don't want so many home runs, but fans love home runs. Okay. Fans love runs. They love runners getting on base. They love batting. They love hitting. And I don't know, I don't know what the end game is here for MLB. It seems like they're just like, they're making all these changes. They don't really know exactly what their end goal is. So I feel like if you're trying to make baseball more watchable, changing the ball so that it's less hittable is not really, to me, the answer, because it seems like there's a ton of strikeouts. There's just a ton of strikeouts. So I don't know. I don't even know for sure that the changed ball is having any impact on hitting, but something's having an impact on hitting, and it's definitely not in a good way. So we talk about the no-hitters, the 7-inning no-hitters, right? Like Madison Bumgarner, but he wasn't the only one this year that has pitched a no-hitter into the 7th inning or through the 7th inning. He's not the first one. There's been other ones, but Madison Bumgarner seems to be the one that we're all talking about. So when we discuss this idea of should 7 innings in a 7-inning game, should a no-hitter be considered a no-hitter? Well, like, I mean, to me, it seems very, I don't know why, but for me, it seems very clear what the answer is. Because if you're going to consider a complete game in 7 innings, okay, if that counts as a complete game and nobody gets a hit in the entire game, then how are you going to say that that guy pitched a complete game, but he didn't pitch a no-hitter? To me, it's either none or both. Either it's a complete game and a no-hitter, or it's not a complete game and not a no-hitter, because there's not 9 innings. So, like, I mean, that's, to me, that seems like it makes the most sense. But to say that it's a complete game but not a no-hitter when nobody got a hit that complete game, it makes no sense. Okay. So anyways, going back in history, we found Nolan Ryan actually had 23 of these 7-game no-hitters. 23. So there were 1,011 overall in baseball history, 1,011 times that the pitcher pitched, got no hits in 7 innings, right? And 297 of those ended up to be a no-hitter in 9 innings, and 714 of them were broken up in the 8th or 9th inning. So, I mean, obviously, a good majority of those are broken up after 7 innings, but 1,011 times pitchers have made it through 7 innings without allowing a hit. And Nolan Ryan did it 23 times. Okay, that's unbelievable. So today I'm wearing the Mets uniform. I have a lot of Mets stuff, obviously. I mean, I have a lot of baseball stuff in general that I wear. I think I have a hat for every team and maybe a shirt for every team. I don't know. But last night, so what's going on?
The wrong Nuggets.
Oh, I'm on the wrong Nuggets?
Yeah, just
well, I'm reading these Nuggets. I actually I actually double checked most of the nuggets to make sure they were still right.
Okay, it's up to you, but the new nuggets are better.
The new nuggets are better.
Okay, I have new nuggets.
Sometimes, well, at least, okay. So
Okay,
thank you
it's
for.
up to you.
Lenny comes upstairs, you know something is off. But that's no problem. Let me have a drink of my morning liquor. Okay, anyways, I did check on these. So, the Mets, like, they've been having fights with Philly right now. They're having fights with Philly, and Alvarado is out of control. Like, this guy is so. Castellanos gets suspended for 3 games for nothing. He did nothing wrong. But Alvarado comes out and he is like literally like egging on the Mets. He's like, I mean, if you want to suspend Castellanos, you have to be consistent. You cannot suspend Castellanos for 3 games and then not suspend Alvarado, because this guy absolutely incited yesterday a fight. It didn't end up to be a fight, so I don't really know like what they're going to do. But honestly, it's not really about whether or not it turned into a fight. It's about your actions on the field. And Alvarado was out of control. He reminds me of Hector Neris. Like, they have such attitude problems in their bullpen. Hector Neris has attitude problems. Now they have Alvarado attitude problems. Like, these guys, they're probably over there bashing trash cans together, like fist fighting each other. I don't know what they're doing, but seriously, Alvarado was a bad attitude yesterday. And it's not okay. Whatever it is, if you're going to suspend Castellanos for not doing anything wrong, then you have to suspend Alvarado for what he did yesterday. It was unbelievable. Okay. What does it say about the validity of the stupid 7-inning game of the MLB won't even call it a no-hitter? What does it say about the game if the MLB will not even give the pitcher a no-hitter? It says that we don't really take them that seriously, but we need to scrunch in extra games just in case of COVID or whatever. These double games, these double headers with the 7 innings. I just don't understand the point of it. I mean, I did last year understand the point of 7 innings, I guess. I mean, not really still, because what's the point? The hitters, I mean, the players love the 7 inning issue. They love it. They love 7 innings. And the reason is because they're ready to go home. Like, they don't feel the need to have it last that long. But if we're going to do a game, let's have a game. And if you're not going to consider it a full game, then let's just have 9 innings then. If you have to squeeze in a doubleheader for some reason, then so be it. These players are such weenies nowadays. We treat them like they're so fragile, and that's what makes them so fragile. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I feel like, resting players and cutting off their innings limits and their pitch count and all this, all it does is create weenies of pitchers and players. That's all it does. We talk about let's rest so-and-so, like, there's so many hamstring issues. There's so many quad issues this year. And I don't think that resting players is actually helping it. I really don't. I think it's hurting it. It's making these players more fragile and fragile as the days go by. And it's ridiculous. Nolan Ryan would never, have had this going on. How do you think he made 23? I mean, Nolan Ryan, look back in like just about 25 years ago in baseball. Pitchers were throwing complete games on a regular basis. Some pitchers earlier than that, they were going, every game was a complete game. Like, pitchers, if they went out there and they didn't throw a complete game, they were pissed off. Okay. A lot of that is old school, but that's when you had really good pitchers. And now we have a bunch of Steven Strasburgs, and we're just rolling around with a bunch of Dinelson Lamettes. And the reason is, in my opinion only, I'm not a doctor, but I still have an opinion. So what? Okay. Anyway, Steve Cohen yesterday tweets that the announcers of the Mets game, they were like, so apparently Marcus Stroman left the game with a tight something. I can't remember what it was. It was like probably a hamstring or a quad, one of those, whatever it was a tight something. He left the game. And the broadcasters were like, we just found this out on Twitter. Steve Cohen tweeted it. That's the first time that's ever happened. That's not the way we're supposed to find out about, these things. So the announcers were quite annoyed about the fact that Steve Cohen was tweeting out information that they did not have yet. Steve Cohen, though, is different than any manager. He is like new school manager, like using technology, using social media. I remember just like when he first bought the team, he was like on a roll on Twitter, and then something happened where he just got plummeted by the Twitter mob. Okay, the Twitter nightmare of a mob. Then he stopped tweeting for a while, and he must have like taken some kind of social media class or whatever. Like, here's how you're supposed to act on Twitter, and this is what you're not allowed to say. God forbid. Okay, because Twitter is crazy for that. Anyway, Steve Cohen tweeted out that Marcus Stroman came out of the game with a problem. He also has been having dinners for the Mets players at his house in Connecticut. He says that it's a way to improve his learning curve, like get to know the players and just, create camaraderie with the team. I don't know if it's working. Okay. It's not working. Well, maybe it is because the Mets are not doing that bad. They're actually only one game out of first place in the NL East. Let me make sure of that because I have to check. Lenny said these are not the newest. No, they're not. Okay. They're 9-11 right now. So in a week, a lot of stuff has changed because now Philly leads the NL East with 13 wins. Atlanta has 12, the Nationals have 10, and the Mets have 9. Miami actually has 11, but the Mets haven't played as many games. So either way, it's not really working. Francisco Lindor is not hitting well. I got to look this up too because this might not be brand new, but Lindor is not hitting well. Let me check it out. He's got 1 home run on the season. He's batting 189. I saw an interview with him the other day, and he was just like, I understand why the Mets fans are booing me. I sure hope that they're there when I'm hitting well, and they will be, believe me. The Mets fans are so much less harsh than the Yankees fans. From what I remember, what I know is that the Mets fans are loyal, and they are used to losing, okay? And they don't stop being a fan. I usually never hear them booing anybody, to be honest with you, but lately I feel like they are booing. He's batting 189 on the season. They're paying him a lot of money. So they just signed a 10-year contract with Lindor. 10 years before he ever even took the field for them. $341 million they paid for Lindor. So the fans, of course, are like, hello. But the Mets fans are loyal, at least. They're not going to probably spit at you or throw things on the field like the Yankees fans. I don't know, like Yankees fans are just so passionate. I'm not trying to dog Yankees fans, even though they can be just dicks sometimes. The media is really harsh here. Anyway, Lindor is not doing well. Last 7 days, he's batting 150. 20 at bats. He's 3 for 20 with zero extra base hits. Okay, 0 extra base hits. 1 walk, only 4 strikeouts out of 20, but still, that's a lot. Whatever it is, he's what's his strikeout rate? He's only striking out 12% of the time. That's less than normal. He usually strikes out like 15% of the time. So that's good. And he is walking. I feel like he's off to a slow start. This guy is a solid player. We'll see what happens. But unless he's hurt, you have to keep putting him in your lineup. You cannot bench this guy. That's what I know for sure. He's consistently healthy every year. He plays, most of the games. 600 at bats every single season. So I'm just saying, last year he played all 60 games. So anyway, he's hitting in the 2nd spot in the order, and this is from April 25th, but the Mets in general, they've only averaged 3 runs per game this whole season. That's the 2nd worst in the National League or in the whole MLB. We'll see what happens with that. But let me look at my new nuggets and see what we got, because I really do like these nuggets. I love the fact that Steve Cohen is having dinners with the Mets. I really love the fact that he is not afraid to use Twitter, and he did not let the mob run him off. And I like Steve Cohen. He's willing to spend money. The Mets were like the only team heading into the season that weren't broke, according to what they tell us, but we don't know for sure because they don't show us their financials ever. And I think that when they say they lost money, they lost revenue. They didn't lose, like they're not in the red. These teams last year, MLB did not go into the red. They just lost revenue millions and millions of dollars, but it just goes to show you that MLB is pretty popular. Now, I don't know how popular they're going to be after what they did to Atlanta this year, but we'll have to see about that. They're popular in this household because that's what we do. But if I had a choice, I don't know. I might not be that pleased about what they did. So Chris Bryant, okay, he's unbelievably good right now. I'm so happy that I invested in him on draft day because he is having a great season. Like, I don't know for sure that this is from yesterday, but I do know that Chris Bryant was getting hits yesterday. He went 2 for 3, putting the Cubbies ahead. He has had the best opening to a season of his entire career, opening month of his 7-year career. He tops, like, he beats his marks in home runs, RBIs, average, OPS, runs created plus. He just tops them all. He's having a career first month of the season. Excellent. So I love Chris Bryant. I'm really pleased about it. Now, is he playing to get traded? Like, he wants to get the hell out of Chicago so bad. I'm sure of it. Especially since he took them to court for what they did to him, leaving him down in the minor leagues. And the court said, no, MLB, we're setting an example right now. Everybody can leave their minor league players in the minor leagues, even if they're ready, still leave them down if you want to have control of their contract for an extra season, which is exactly what they do and will continue doing thanks to that lawsuit that went in their favor, MLB. He went Posey. Now, listen, Posey, okay, is the only one that gets hits off of Yu Darvish. Anyway, he got a home run yesterday in the first inning. That was the only run that Yu Darvish gave up in the game. By the way, Darvish is on freaking fire right now, okay? He also scored the other only run in the game. He is doing excellent. He has so many hits, so many home runs. Like, he has more home runs. Hold on, my nuggets. Buster Posey, 6 home runs in 17 games. That's 2 more than he's had through 17 games played in any other season of his career. So taking last year off, having twins, whatever, he's back in action, did not miss a beat, okay? 4 home runs through 17 in his 2012 MVP season. But, you know, Buster Posey's always been known in fantasy for his batting average, his consistent playing time, and it wasn't ever really for his home runs, okay? Because Buster Posey hasn't even topped 10 home runs since 2017 when he had 12. He's not a huge power guy, okay? He's not a huge steals guy. He's a great batting average guy. And, you know, this year, though, he has 6 home runs in 17 games and a 361 batting average. Don't expect that to continue through the rest of the season. But if you have Posey, you got him really cheap and you are very pleased, okay? So here's the run differentials in the NL East. The run differentials, there's only one team with a positive run differential in the NL East. One team, and they're in last place. Isn't that crazy? Okay, one team. The rest of them are all negative, including Philly, who leads the National League East with negative 15 run differential. Atlanta's negative 10. The Nationals are negative 21. And they've only played 22 games when the rest of the league, you know, the rest of them have played 26. The Mets have only played 20 games, and they're negative 14 run differential. And the Miami Marlins are the only positive run differential in the National League East. There's only one in the, okay, let's look at the rest of the run differentials. This is interesting. Okay, the Red Sox are plus 24. That is not going to last, okay? I'm sorry, that is just not going to last. They're rolling with Eovaldi, Martin Perez, Nick Pivetta, who we're going to talk about today because he has 2 starts next week. There's 3 in the AL East. There's 3 teams with a positive run differential, including the Yankees, who are in last place but still do have a positive run differential of 10. The Red Sox 24, the Toronto Blue Jays are 17. You know, the Blue Jays are really in a difficult situation. They're playing in some spring training park, okay, in Dunedin, Florida. I hope that they get to go home soon. I hope that we can, I mean, if they're all vaccinated, why in the world are they not at home playing? What the heck? I don't get this whole thing about being vaccinated and not doing anything or not being able to go anywhere. So, I mean, I think that the whole COVID situation, there's some, I mean, you have to try to find the positives, right? Toronto, not Toronto, but just in general, MLB in general, the games is like my perfect dream of going to a game in this situation because nobody's in your personal space. Nobody's at the bathroom line. Nobody is getting beers before you, or like there's a couple people, right? But everybody's spread out. So the beer line probably looks a lot long. In fact, you can order beers from your phone at your seat now. And I just love that. And I hope that they continue to leave it like that you don't even have to get out of your seat to get a beer. Nobody's in sitting next to you within arm's distance. Like you could do this and nobody is bothering you. I love it. Okay. You can always have an aisle seat because they only sell so many tickets. Like, what a great setup at baseball games. Why Toronto is not doing it is beyond me. So, we'll see what happens, but I hope they get home soon. I really think it will help them out. And, Lourdes Gurriel, he's been a nightmare for me. If any of you people have him on your team, he's been a nightmare for you too. I just keep putting him in my lineup because I know as soon as I bench him, he is going to start hitting. Only 2 teams in the AL Central have a positive run differential, and Kansas City is actually leading the AL Central, but they're still negative run differential, which is -2, not that much, but they are 15-9. The White Sox are trailing them 14-11. I just feel like the White Sox are having such an unlucky year, but their pitching has been okay. Carlos Rodon has been unbelievably good. You should trade him immediately. Immediately trade Carlos Rodon if you can find somebody that is not that bright and will take him from you. The White Sox are plus 29. That tells me that you could kind of tell a lot from the run differential, even though if the records are bad, whatever, they're still scoring runs and they're scoring more runs than the teams that they're playing. So even though the record is not great, they are plus 29. That means they're scoring runs even without your boy Eloy, and Luis Robert was off on the COVID list for a couple days. He's back. He got like a double yesterday or an inside the park home run or something happened. Something happened great, and he was on my bench in Tout Wars. So that's how it rolls. Anyway, Detroit Tigers are absolute abomination. That is why today, when we talk about pitchers to pick up, I will be talking about a couple of pitchers, 2-start pitchers that are going up against the Detroit Tigers for this reason and this reason alone. They are -58 run differential. Okay. There's 2 teams with a positive run differential in the AL West, okay, and it's not Oakland who leads the division 16-11. They're -4. Seattle is right behind them. It's unbelievable. But Oakland, okay, Oakland's got problems. They are not on their winning streak anymore. They've only lost one in the last, one in a row. So they've had at least a win and a loss, but they're 6-4 in their last 10. And Seattle is right behind them in the second spot in the AL West. They are positive run differential, if you can imagine. The Houston Astros are positive they're plus 31. So they've scored 131 runs, and teams have only scored 100 runs against them, but they're still 14-12, and they're in third place in that division. Then you have the Angels and the Texas Rangers. We're not surprised about the Texas Rangers. They're 3-7 in their last 10, and the Angels are 4-6 in their last 10. So Houston's actually 7-3 in their last 10, and they will be at the top of that division sooner than later, I think. The NL East we already talked about. Philly leads the NL East, but they're all negative except for the last place team, which is Miami. They're plus 11. NL Central, you have 3 teams positive run differential. I can't believe Milwaukee is leading this division right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Cincinnati Reds have just died off. They need another fight or something. Castellanos needs to get into another fight and pump up these Cincinnati Reds. They're 3-7 in their last 10. And the Cubbies are you don't want to know. If you're a Cubbies fan, you don't want to know. Okay? Let me talk about the Nuggets that Lenny just sent me. Let's see what we got. Shared with me. I only see Nuggets May 1st and Steve Cohen. This must be it. Steve Cohen. I love Steve Cohen, okay? I like him. Yeah, so here's the Nuggets for the day. The Rays slipped to 6-9 at their home park. They that ties their total for the number of home defeats in the entire 2020 season. So they only had they're 6-9. They must have had 9 losses at home last season. Freddie Peralta has 45 strikeouts and 14 hits allowed in 28 innings. The batting average against is 146, so he's having a good season. And that's, here we talk about Milwaukee, but Garrett Cole, I really don't like this guy that much. I don't like the Yankees at all. But okay, 12 strikeouts and no walks. He now has 10 or more strikeouts and no walks in each of his last 3. He's still not as good as Yu Darvish and the Padres. Do the Padres face the Yankees this year? That will be fun. That's tied for, okay, so he has 0 walks in each of his last 3 starts. That's tied for the longest such streak since at least 1901. Clayton Kershaw in 2016. I don't know what this means. That's tied. Oh, he's tied with Clayton Kershaw in 2016 and Clayton Kershaw in 2015. Clayton Kershaw's better. Anyways, Garrett Cole's the first Yankees pitcher with at least 10 strikeouts in 3 consecutive games since 1998. David Cone. I don't even want to talk about Garrett Cole, okay? I don't care. Mike Trout has a 425 batting average in April. It's his highest in any calendar month of his entire career. And we didn't draft him number 1. Can you imagine? So anyway, he has a 1.304 OPS, is second highest in any month for OPS, only behind July of 2015 when he had a 1.323. Anyway, he finishes April with a 425 batting average. The last player to post these totals in any month, okay, with the minimum of 75 plate appearances was Lance Berkman in May of 2008. The last American League player was Bernie Williams in 2001, and the last player to do it in March and April was Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is like, if you're ever playing trivia and you don't know who it is, it's probably Barry Bonds. It's probably either Barry Bonds or Big Papi. Probably most likely Barry Bonds. That's always a good guess. Just when in doubt, just guess Barry Bonds. You probably get it right. Or Babe Ruth, he did a lot too. So anyway, Barry Bonds just crushed everybody. All right. JD Martinez has 9 homers. Shohei Ohtani has 8 homers. Acuna, 8. Brian McMahon has 8 home runs. Rhys Hoskins has 8, which I love because I put him on a couple teams of mine, including, okay, let's see. Rhys Hoskins, what did he do yesterday? Let's find out what he did yesterday. Rhys Hoskins. I think he was interviewed after the game talking about, just the fact that they're going to go out there and play the game today without any hard feelings or whatever. Okay. Yesterday's April 30th. No home runs yesterday, but 2. See, now I'm reading the wrong This is from April 26th. 2 home runs. He's hit 2 home runs on April 26th. He hit 2 home runs on April 24th and a home run on April 23rd and April 20th. But anyway, he has 2 multi-homer games in the past 7 games. 2 multi-home run games, 7 RBIs, but he's still batting 179 over that time, so it's not that impressive. But hey, man, at least he's hitting homers, right? All right. Aaron Judge did it too. 2 home runs yesterday. One of them was a grand slam, I'm pretty sure. He has 2 multi-homer games this season. Yeah, because he never hits any other time. He just goes up there and he just crushes home runs. 2 at a time, right? So, but if you have him on your team, you're like, what does he do the rest of the days? Let's see what he does. He did hit a home run on April 27th, but okay, hello. He seriously, half the time he doesn't even get a hit. His batting average actually it's 272, but I'm telling you, it's 0 for 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 0 for 4. I mean, he's frustrating unless you happen to pick him in DFS the day that he decides to hit 2 bombs and the Yankees, whatever. Anyways, he went 2 for 4 yesterday with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. The Yankees beat the Tigers 10-0. Big freaking deal, okay? The freaking Yankees, they're always in the news. They're always in the news because everybody wants to give them all this credit when they do something right. They're not a good team. Anyways, I'm dogging on everybody, right? In the American League East, I'm rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays, if you can't tell. Alex Kirilloff also hit 2 home runs yesterday. Twins crushed KC 9-1. Kirilloff was batting 115, though, okay? He hit those home runs 394 and 416 feet yesterday, so we know he has power. The Twins were actually talking about keeping him up, like to start the season, but obviously that didn't happen. And then now he's up, though. And if he's still available, he might be somebody interesting to invest in. But honestly, you should instead go for somebody that has a little more experience, a little bit more consistency, just experience mostly. And even if he's not like flashy, like 2 home run type of guy, at least a guy like Mark and Liz. Yay! Hello! Whoop-de-doo, okay? That's Mark, Buzzard, and Liz. So nice to see you, okay? Now I'm nervous. Okay. Anyways, Shane Bieber's up to 68 strikeouts so far this season. That's the second most by any pitcher in his first 6 appearances of a season in the modern era. You guys, I'm introducing you to Malpal, Matt Hooper, the rest of our friends. Douglas Boyle is here. Jamie Gates, nice to see you. And of course, Lenny, my best fan. I don't have to introduce you to Lenny because this is Lenny's son, Mark. Say hi to Mark and his girlfriend, Liz. So nice to see them in the chat room. Okay. So the only pitcher with more strikeouts than Shane Bieber in the first 6 appearances of a season is, guess who? So remember when I was saying that you should always guess Barry Bonds? If you're ever in doubt playing trivia, always guess Barry Bonds for the hitter. And if you're ever in doubt in trivia for a pitcher, just guess Nolan Ryan. It's usually Nolan Ryan or Randy Johnson or Pedro. Anyway, that's just a hint. Kyle Schwarber homered yesterday. It's his second home run of the season. He's been just pretty much a nightmare. He's homered in 23 of John Lester's starts while they were on the Cubs together. All right, now he has 24 in John Lester's start. Now they're on the team again together. Bo Bichette in his 99th career game, he had a home run. It was his 56th home run of his career. No, it was his 56th extra base hit of his career. Only players with more extra base hits through 100 career games since 1901. Oh, wait a minute. Barry Bonds is not on this list. Let's do some trivia in the chat room. Only players with more than 56 extra base hits through their first 100 career games. Guess who they are? 3 of them are still playing out of 5. There's 5 total. 3 of them are still playing. Okay. Alrighty. Senzel played 3 innings in the infield this season, but he was drafted as a third baseman before he moved to center field. Second base is where he's playing. I mean, he was playing. Jonathan India is also playing second base, but he has only played 28 games at second base, and that was when he was at AAA. So he does have a little, but not in the major leagues. Tariq Skubal, okay, finally AJ Hinch is saying that Tariq Skubal probably needs to be sent down, but there's nowhere to send him yet because the minor leagues hasn't even started yet, okay? So we have this guy, Tariq Skubal, who is obviously not ready to be in the major leagues. He is obviously not ready to pitch. He's 24 years old. He never pitched at AAA. I mean, he's got a great speed, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but his freaking command is horrible. And this poor guy is being tortured in the majors. The Tigers are torturing just in general. They're just horrible. They're 8-19. They've lost 13 of their past 15 games. They have the worst record in baseball. They have I told you, a negative 58 run differential. They have a league worst 202 batting average. But hey, we already talked about the fact entire MLB has the worst batting average in history this year. In history. So we'll see what happens. But the Detroit Tigers, I mean, hope it makes them feel good. It's the league worst in a year where the league has the worst batting average that they've ever had. So anyway, moving on. Chris Paddock was placed on the injured list yesterday because he has an undisclosed reason. This is called the phantom DL. It's when a team puts you on the DL when they don't know what else to do with you, and they pretend that you're hurt because they want to get rid of you and they don't know what else to do. That's what happened. Chris Paddock has been horrible. I don't even know for sure that he's a good pitcher. So speaking of the Padres, I got a trade offer yesterday from our boss. And sometimes I think like maybe I should just take the trade offer because it's our boss and, but I'm not doing that. No way. So Matt Deutsch offered me a trade. He wanted to give me something kind of interesting. It was Cole Irvin, and who else? I can't remember. Anyways, he wants Will Myers. Okay. Will Myers was scratched. Oh, maybe it was Cole Calhoun, Cole Irvin. I don't know who it is. But anyways, Will Myers was scratched from the lineup just a couple minutes before the first pitch because of COVID-19 contact tracing protocol. We've been quarantining around here because we came in contact with a couple people with COVID, but they're fine and we are fine so far. Today is day 6, so they have tests that you can buy at the Sam's Club and you could take them home and you could test at home now. Isn't that convenient? Anyways, I don't know how accurate they are, but it was pretty easy to take a test. Anyways, we don't know for sure that Will Myers has COVID or if he's just on COVID because on the COVID injured list because he was in contact with somebody that does have COVID. They're not allowed to tell us, so we don't really know. The player has to give permission for them to say, but hello, it seems, I don't know. We'll know by how long it takes him to come back because you only have to quarantine for like I think they say if you don't have any symptoms by 7 days, then you don't have to quarantine. I think that's the same in baseball, but if you do have COVID, you're going to be on the COVID IL for at least 14 days or 12 days or whatever it is. So even though the player doesn't give permission to tell anybody, we're still going to know by how many days he spends on the COVID list because the COVID list is obviously different from the regular IL. And you can come on and go off the COVID anytime. Isn't that nice? I think teams are really using it as like a free-for-all. If you have a sore ankle, go on the COVID IL because nobody gets to know exactly why you're on there anyway. And you get to, like Luis Robert was on there for like 2 or 3 days. What does that mean? That is not enough time to quarantine. It's not enough time to get healthy. It's just weird because the COVID gives these players and teams an opportunity to get rid of their player for a couple days, whatever it may be. Maybe they're having a bad day. I don't know. But it seems odd that they would go on the COVID for only a few days. Anyways, they were asking several times about the reason for Paddock going on the injured list. This is not the COVID list. Yeah. So Paddock went to the regular IL and Will Myers went to the COVID IL. So that's what that is. The manager, Jace Tingler, declined to reveal any specifics about either one of them. Yu Darvish has not given up a run. Okay, Yu Darvish is unbelievable. He is neck and neck with the best pitchers in baseball right now. He is unbelievable. He did have a bad start. His very first start of the season was not great. So he allowed 4 runs that start. Otherwise, he would be right up there literally with Garrett Cole, everybody's love. Anyway, he on opening day he pitched 4 2/3 and he allowed 4 runs, so that stunk. But the rest of the time he has been unbelievable. Yesterday 4 hits and 3 walks, that lowered his ERA to 2.13, and now he's 3-1 on the season. But Yu Darvish, like if you look at his, hold on, Darvish, unbelievable. So in his last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's made 6 starts, and he has pitched at least 6 innings in 5 of them, including the last 5. So if we just forget about April 1st opening day where he pitched 4 2/3, he has pitched every single outing. He has given up 1 run, 1 earned run in each of the last 5 outings. And his ERA is very good. He's 3-1, just like it said. He's 3-1, but he didn't qualify for a win on April 6th when he probably should have, because he pitched 6 innings and he only gave up 1 run. But he struck out 12 last night. Freaking unbelievable. Struck out 9. He's just great pitching, great. So if you have him, you're doing great. Tyler O'Neill hit a home run. It's 426 feet. Okay, that's his 8th home run against the Pirates. So anytime you see him playing against the Pirates, you should put him in your DFS lineup. He's a daily play for sure. He has more home runs against Pittsburgh in 28 games than he has combined against the other National League Central teams, which combined is 6. Okay. Travis Shaw. I know. Lenny puts this in the Nuggets and I guarantee he's like giggling while he's putting this in the Nuggets. He's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. He already tried to tell me that Travis Shaw today. He's like, hey, have you seen Travis Shaw? He leads the Milwaukee Brewers with 19 RBIs. Yes, I know. But he is a trade chip. And that's it. And you have to trade him to somebody that isn't that bright, because he is not going to continue to do this. That's my bet, but I've been wrong already this season quite a few times, so we'll see. He walks 6.4% of the time. He strikes out 28.7% of the time. That is unsustainable. Okay, but his batting average is 209 on the season, so you are dealing with quite a bad batting average, but everybody has a bad batting average, so what are you going to do? His batting average on balls in play is nothing special, so Travis Shaw leads the Milwaukee Brewers by not just 1 or 2 RBIs. The next guy on the list is Omar Narvaez, and he has 11 RBIs, so he's ahead by 8 RBIs, and the Milwaukee Brewers are leading the NL Central right now. He has 4 home runs and 8 runs. That's that. So you know what? You should trade him, put him into a trade, package him up, send him on his way, and be done with him. Okay. David Peralta, he's 3 for 5 with the triple yesterday. Now, here's the thing. David Peralta has the most triples in baseball with 4. Chris Owings and Akil Baddoo each have 3. And then Nick Madrigal actually has 2. Adam Frazier, Ohtani. Can you imagine? Ohtani is hitting like crazy. Okay, Ohtani. So anyway, David Peralta leading the league with 4 triples. His batting average is 284. On Thursday, he went 3 for 5 with a triple, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base. So he's 33 years old. So I don't know for sure that he can keep this up too. But we've seen little glimpses of brilliance from David Peralta in the past. He's been absolutely raking over the last couple weeks. He's 18 for 44 with 6 extra base hits and 14 RBIs over the last 11 games. He's on fire. The last 7 games, he's batting .321 with 6 RBIs and 1 home run. Okay, Brendan Rodgers is running. I'll let that sink in for a second. He began running on Thursday. He didn't promise, but he said that his goal this year was to steal 20 bases. And he can totally steal 20 bases if and only if he can be healthy for a few games, which he's not. He's been sidelined since March 1st with a hamstring strain. Just like every other hitter in baseball, hamstring problems. These are specifically, now I'm not a doctor, but I do know this. I do know a couple things. These hamstring problems and strains when their muscles are strained, and we're seeing it all over baseball. Why aren't these managers making these batters stretch out some? They need to stretch out. These are caused specifically from not stretching your muscles. That's what they're caused from. When you have a strain in your muscles, that's because you're not stretching out. It seems so obvious. You look around and you see all of these hitters with strains and quads and strains and pulls. They need to stretch out. For crying out loud, what are they doing? They need to get to work early and stretch out. Anyways, he has not had any setbacks, but he sure hasn't. There's no timeline still for Brendan Rodgers to come back. I mean, it's a positive sign that he's running. I still don't have any faith in him, but Lenny does. That's why he put him in the Nuggets. Anyway, Caleb Smith, Arizona seems to be heating up right now. That's for sure. Arizona is heating up. At first, in the first couple weeks of the season, it was like they could not score runs, and they are actually hitting now. And I just hope they keep doing it, at least until Gallen pitches today. Gallen's pitching today. Caleb Smith, he's a reliever in Arizona. He struck out the side in the 7th inning. He had one of the best innings. Okay, he 13 pitches, 9 swinging strikes, 3 strikeouts, and 0 on the scoreboard. So that was on Thursday. Cubs starters, they are horrible. They have a 7.91 ERA in the team's 14 losses, and Kyle Hendricks was abominable. Is that even a word? He was horrible. Okay, he was horrible the other night. Kyle Hendricks, what a nightmare. I mean, I had the same night I had Glasnow, Hendricks, and Steven Matz. Glasnow pitched wonderful. He got 29 points. The rest of these fools put me into negative points. I ended up the day with like negative points on pitching because of Kyle Hendricks and Steven Matz, who have been decent, okay? But they haven't been that good lately. So anyways, Kyle Hendricks, what are you going to do? Everybody has a bad start now and again. Anyways, Jacob deGrom, talk about good pitcher. He's got a .51 ERA. How do you even say that? Anyways, the Mets are only 2-3 in his starts. They can't score runs when Jacob deGrom is pitching, even though he's an excellent pitcher. In 3 losses, he's allowed just 2 runs. That's 20 innings of pitching, 2 runs allowed, and the Mets can't score for him. The Mets were shut out twice out of 3. Unbelievable. The bullpen, they allowed 5 runs after he departed in just his first start of the season against the Phillies. Just his first start, the bullpen gives up 5 runs. Literally, in all the times that he started for the Mets, they must have a negative run differential for him because he cannot get wins. He's thrown 40 pitches at more than 100 miles an hour this season in the first inning. No, that's since the start of last season. So 40 pitches in the first inning dating back to last season, over 100 miles an hour, okay? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nobody even has more than 8 pitches above 100 miles an hour in the first inning in baseball. In his, no, nobody. They have the next one in line is 8 pitches above 100 miles an hour in the first inning. That's Sixto Sanchez, who is totally useless this year, who is sitting on my bench in my National League only team, along with Matt Fried and every other person that I have on my roster. I have 7 injured players in a National League only. And I still think I have the best team, so we'll see what happens as we head through the season. Hopefully some of these guys will get better. Anyway, the New York Mets are averaging a National League worst 3 runs per game, and 15 home runs are the fewest in baseball. No thanks to Conforto, okay? No thanks to him. Just whatever. They need to get going. So these dinners at Cohen's house are not helping out right now. Since sweeping their series against the Phillies earlier in April, okay, the Mets have just a .220 batting average, which isn't even that bad compared to the rest of the leagues, and they've only averaged 2.5 runs over the last 11 games. The Phillies are only averaging 3.8 runs, okay, so they rank 13th in the National League, ahead of only the Mets in the Nationals, and what a great matchup then, right? The two of these teams, and the fact that they're brawling each other is just unbelievable. I would be like, until you bitches win a game, you cannot be brawling and starting fights with each other. No benches clearing brawls until you start learning how to score some runs and make contact with pitches, because you suck. Sam Hilliard stinks too. He is horrible. I don't know why the Rockies still even keep messing around with him. I don't know. Anyways, they optioned him again back to wherever. I don't know where they optioned him to. There's no place to option him to. The alternate training site, that's where they probably put him. Anyways, that's in Scottsdale. But the minor league system, they don't even start for another. They might start this week. they're about ready to get started May 6th or something. It'll be nice because the minor league players have nowhere to go right now that are anything like, real, where it can get them at bats. They can play against real people, blah, blah, blah. None of that's happening. And anyway, they put him back down to begin the season with AAA Albuquerque when it opens May 6th. So in 19 games, he hit 108 with 19 strikeouts and 39 plate appearances, and that was a 48.7% strikeout rate, which is not going to work, okay? But on a good note, guess who is doing well? Pitching in San Francisco, whoop-de-doo. They're pitching great. All of these reclamation projects or refurbished pitchers that are pitching in San Francisco. I mean, here's the thing. San Francisco is obviously a great park for pitchers. It's a pitcher's park, to be clear, okay? It's not as much of a pitcher's park as it used to be, but it's still very good, which means it's kind of like what San Diego used to be, where if a pitcher goes from any team to San Diego, it automatically makes him a better pitcher. So if he was like a 5 pitcher, now he's a 7 pitcher, Anyway, the San Francisco Giants, their starting pitchers have an ERA of 1.50. That's unbelievable, okay? Alex Wood, 1.80. DeSclafani, 1.50. Johnny Cueto had a 1.8 before he got hurt. And then Kevin Gausman, of course, 214. And Aaron Sanchez, 222. They would join the 1978 A's as the only teams to have 5 starters with a sub 250 ERA in the month of April since the ERA even became an official stat in 1913. That's unbelievable. The freaking San Francisco, okay. Last week it was a couple weeks ago that we had the Toronto. This week we're having a Yankees beat writer. So if you guys have any questions for him, put them in the chat room and I will absolutely ask our Yankees beat writer tomorrow on our Sirius show. But we had a Toronto Blue Jays guy on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about the pitching coach, and they call him the pitch whisperer or something like that, just the fact that he can take pitchers and make them good again, or take just what you think are pitchers that their career is over, such as Kevin Gausman, number 1, Aaron Sanchez, number 2, DeSclafani, number 3. Like Alex Wood is another one. Like all of these pitchers are total refurbished pitchers, and they are doing excellent. And I would say that I will give tons of credit to whoever's getting this done in San Francisco, because it is very apparent that the pitching coach is top notch in San Francisco. Okay. Because their pitching is unbelievable. It's not just the ballpark. It is absolutely, you can see a huge difference in these pitchers who may not have ever pitched in a rotation again in their career, including Alex Wood, who we've been thinking, he was with the Dodgers last year. He did horrible. Or maybe he was with the Angels, whatever. He was not good. We expected him to be good, but he wasn't. Now he's with the freaking Giants and he's pitching just great. I love the Giants. I think they're great. I think they're underrated for, their players are nothing flashy, but like Wilmer Flores, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Wilmer Flores, and I like Brandon Bell. Whatever. I like this team. Okay. So the Phillies, we could just rant on the Phillies again, but I'm not going to do that because we already talked about how crappy they are at scoring runs. Eflin, though, Zach Eflin, he's gone at least 6 innings in all 5 of his starts. That is great news for Eflin people. The Rockies, they lost their first 7 away from Coors Field. They can't hit outside of Rockies, outside of Coors Field. They cannot hit outside of Denver. Bud Black avoided joining the Nationals, the 2009 Nationals, and the 2006 Kansas City Royals, and the 2003 Detroit Tigers as the only teams in the modern era to drop their first 8 road games. So congratulations, Colorado. You didn't lose your first 8 road games, but you did lose your first 7. Nico Horner, we're going to talk about in players to pick up because he is probably going to stay on the roster. If he continues to hit, he will continue to get playing time. He will continue to get in the lineup, even though he bats at the bottom. And he's absolutely useless for your fantasy team unless you're looking for a guy that has a decent batting average and gets on base, because he will score some runs. He will get some, I mean, he's batting at the bottom of the order, so he's not going to have that many RBIs. But let me tell you what, the prospect of him hitting home runs and stealing bases is slim to none, okay? So just remember that with Nico Horner. It's exciting. He's young. He's exciting, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, DeSclafani, we already talked about this. Giants pitching is way better than we expected. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, the sixth most common regular season starting battery since 1900. These two have pitched and been partners together. Wainwright on the mound, Molina, Yadi behind the plate. It's just a great friendship, I'm sure. And, you know, there hasn't been very many catchers in baseball history and pitchers to have this many games together. So that is absolutely an accomplishment, and I root for them every time, even though Adam Wainwright is like, depending on the league, he probably shouldn't even be rostered. In deep leagues, yes, but he's past his prime, to put it nicely, okay? Zach Wheeler is the first Phillies pitcher to throw 8 or more innings with 1 or less hits and 9 strikeouts since Cole Hamels no-hitter versus Chicago in 2015. Zach Wheeler is a good pitcher, but, you know, you run into a problem with the Phillies because it seems like, I don't know. I can't honestly say for sure that I know this, so I'm not even going to say it, because if I don't know, then I shouldn't say it. So let's talk about remember the trivia that I asked you? It was the only players with more extra base hits through 100 career games since 1901. There's 5 of them. 3 of them are still playing. Let me look in the chat room. Hi, Big Al. Nice to see you. Hello. Nice to see you. Okay. Is anybody, they demoted Hilliard and called up Matt Adams. Seriously, that's interesting. I didn't even see that. Okay. Matt Hooper, who's your team? I don't know who your team is. I can't remember who your team is. Sorry, I should know. Maybe it's Toronto. I don't know. No. He forgot to play Teoscar Hernandez yesterday. So, yes, Malpal, we should always guess Big Poppy or Barry Bonds. That's how it works for sure. Okay, Douglas Boyle guessed Trevor Story, and he is not on the list, but good guess. Very good guess. It's actually Yordan Alvarez. He has 60 extra base hits through 100 career games. Jose Abreu is tied with him for 60, and Ryan Braun had 57. And then the ones that aren't playing is Joe DiMaggio, 69, and Hal Trosky, 57. Now, let's talk about, let me just scroll through these real quick. The Tigers, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about some players to pick up. I did every position today. Carlos Rodon. Let me just reiterate what I said earlier. Trade him immediately if you can. Trade him. Try to put him in a package. Try and sneak him in some kind of trade, because he has got to go. He is 4-0 with the .72 ERA. And just for any other reason, if not for any other reason, there's one reason that is the most important reason. And it's not because I don't think he's a good pitcher. I do think he's a good pitcher, but I will tell you right now, the guy has no innings, okay, in his career over a season. He has none. Like, he has as little as Michael Kopech does, but he's been injured a lot longer than Michael Kopech. And I will say this: if they try to put him out there for 200 innings, they will never do that. They will not do it. They will. And right now he's going full speed ahead. Let's look at his history. Let's look at what he has already on the season. Sooner you could trade him, the better off you'll be, because come All-Star break and after, he is not going to be. In 2016, okay, he pitched 165 innings in 2016. 2018, he pitched 120. That was the last time he pitched, really. In 2019, he pitched 34 innings. 2020, he pitched 7 innings. He is not going to be able to pitch more than 140 innings total. He's thrown at least 5 innings in all 4 of his starts this season. I I don't know like how efficient he is with his pitch counts, but that's what they should be going by anyways instead of innings, because some guys it takes them like 35, 40 pitches to get through an inning. Some guys it takes like 15 pitches to get through an inning. That's a big difference on the arm. So I'm just saying they go by innings. He has been excellent. I will give him that. He's striking out batters like crazy. We always knew he was a strikeout pitcher anyway. His fastball is 95 miles an hour. It's the highest velocity that it's ever been. That's excellent. That's great sign. Okay. His FIP is only 215, even though his ERA is like less than 1 or something. It's just unsustainable. But his FIP is 215. He's pitching great. I'm not even trying to take that away from him. My concern is his innings, and I promise you that they will start to either cut. I doubt they're going to start, like, I doubt they're going to cut his innings per start, because they want him to qualify for a win. You don't put a pitcher out there and then only cut him down to 4 innings. They're going to let him pitch however many innings he can pitch in that game. But I promise you that they will start to cut down the number of starts that he gets. Maybe they'll go to a 6-man rotation. Maybe him and Kopech will start rotating starts, because both of these guys have a serious problem with innings. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to dog on Rodon. He's got an unbelievable ERA, and his stats are very good for the season. But let's go ahead and get through. Let's start talking about some players to pick up. Okay. Oh, wait, Mancini. Oh, Mancini. Mancini doesn't have a great batting average, but you didn't really expect that great of a batting average from Mancini, and he's hitting home runs. And you can't expect much more from this guy, okay? Because he has had bad luck, but we still don't expect a great batting average from him anyway. I just don't. But on ground balls, okay, he had 1 single on the ground out of 21 grounders hit, and that is really, really low. Like, that is the batting average on balls in play from hell. Since then, he's hit the ball on the ground 21 times and had 9 hits, so he's getting better. He is batting .375 with a pair of home runs and at least 2 hits in 5 of the last 11 games. Okay, I love it. Mancini is just a pleasure to have on your roster. Okay, Mancini. Aroldis Chapman on Thursday, it says that he struck out 20 of 29 batters that he's faced. Okay. Angels rotation is sitting with an ERA of 5.82. They rank last in the American League. So everybody, I don't know, lots of people are pretty high on the Angels this year. They like the hitting. That brings up Albert Pujols, who I will talk about in just a second. But the bullpen is just as bad. They have a 4.36 ERA on the season. They are 11th out of 15 in the National League. Their pitching is horrible. Ohtani is like the mastermind of the Angels. He goes, he hits, he pitches, he does everything. Unbelievable. He's really turned into the player that everybody wanted him to be over the last couple seasons. It took him a Tommy John injury. It took him, several years, which should stick in your brain the next time that somebody comes over and just, is introduced to a brand new culture, doesn't speak the language, has never played baseball. The MLB is much different, and we expect from Shohei Ohtani what, you just can't expect that in the first season. So just don't forget that next time somebody comes over and you're like, oh, whoop-de-doo, like he's the best thing of a generation and all that. And I will say, you have to wait. Don't get too excited the first couple seasons. Wait till everybody else is done being excited and now they're disappointed, and then you jump in on him, just like you did this year. If you have Shohei Ohtani, you waited until a good season. That's how it works. Anyways, hitters are 0 for 19 with 18 strikeouts. He's crazy good. Okay. Let's move on. Logan Allen got demoted, so I don't even need to bring you tidbits from Logan Allen, but let's just skip all these tidbits that Lenny gave me and move on to the catcher position. We're going to talk about players to pick up this weekend. Tomorrow is a big deal. Big day. So Lenny's going to talk to the Yankees beat writer tomorrow about the fact that Kyle Higashioka is their best offensive player so far this season. and he only plays half the time because Gary Sanchez stinks. So Gary Sanchez can't hustle, and he should absolutely be benched until he learns how to run out a ground ball or an infield hit or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. He should be running like the wind to first base until he runs past it, because you're allowed in baseball. Anyways, he's been starting every other game, and Aaron Boone said we are going to increase his playing time, and if he continues to hit, we're going to find room in the lineup. Gary Sanchez sucks anyways. He sucks offensively, he sucks defensively. So what good is he? Okay, so maybe if you bench him a few times, he might learn how to hustle. But Higashioka he has 2 home runs in the last 5 games, but don't really let that fool you. He is not the best catcher to pick up. I'm just putting him on the list because I know he's popular, and he has 4 home runs on the season so far. Okay, let's see. He only has 37 plate appearances and 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, a 258 batting average. That's got to be putting Gary Sanchez to shame. Anyway, he's 31 years old, so don't get all excited about this. He's not a prospect or anything like it. He spent like over 10 years in the minor leagues before he came up to the majors, so don't get too crazy about this guy, okay? He spent over 10 years in the minors. Okay. Anyway, he's got a 246. I already told you that. He did actually participate last postseason because Gary Sanchez stunk. So he did take over for Gary Sanchez in the postseason. He does not know how to walk. So he did not walk one time in like 2 years in the minors. The last 2 seasons that he was in the minors, he did not walk at all. Just don't get crazy on this guy. Number 2, Tom Murphy. He's another one. He's another one. You can look at his stats. He's got a 146 batting average on the season, 3 walks, 4 RBIs, 2 home runs, and 6 runs total in 51 plate appearances. But there is a time that he did hit 18 home runs in 2019, so he could pick it up at any time. He's played 3 of the last 4 games and 4 of the last 7 games. I told you he had 18 home runs in 2019, and he's actually much better against left-handed pitching than he is against righties. His competition is only batting 103 on the season, so he may see more playing time going forward, and he's actually had quite a bit of playing time. He's played in 16 games, okay? So I just don't think that he has a lot of competition, or even it feels like most teams, they split time between catchers. They usually have like one hitting catcher and one defensive catcher or whatever. Some pitchers have like their own catcher, but it seems like lately catchers are not getting full seasons of at bat, no matter how good you are. But sometimes, and this is a situation where it seems like these two are it's Elias Diaz. He's only batting 103. He's got 1 RBI and 3 runs on the season. So Tom Murphy, if he could step it up. That's all I'm saying, because he did have 18 home runs in 2018, and that wasn't that long ago. He's only 30, so we'll see. Dom Nunez, he's the one. Like, Dom Nunez, okay, hold on a minute. In the last 8 games, he is batting 238 with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. But on the season, he has 7 extra base hits, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and look, the batting average is a crap. I'll tell you that right away. I'm not going to lie. 204. But he's still playing, as it seems like he's Colorado's most used. There's no doubt about it that he's number 1 on the depth chart in Colorado for the pitching or the catching role. Okay, that's what he does. And none of these catchers are great. But Jacob Stallings, I only bring him up because he's still probably available in your league. He's played in 6 of the last 7. He bats like the last 3 games. They've moved him up in the batting order. So he's batting 5th, 6th, or 7th. Last 3 games, he's batting 5th or 6th. So they moved him up. And in those last 3 games, actually the last 4 games, he's batting 308. So this guy, if you need, I think that he's going to do okay for batting average. He's not going to be crazy with the home runs. He only hit 3 home runs last year in 42 games, and he only has hit 1 home run this year. But he's decent if he's going to bat near the middle of the order. He does have 8 RBIs and 7 runs, so he can score. And his on-base percentage is .377, so he's absolutely better in on-base percentage leagues than he is in regular leagues. But let's move on to first base, because Jesus Aguilar is the pickup of the week. He is absolutely on fire right now. He's playing in 7 out of the last 7 games. He earned 50 points in Tout Wars last week, okay? 50 points. I couldn't believe it because he was on my team. I've already picked him up and dropped him twice in Tout Wars this year. Unbelievable that he does that crap. He's not even on my team right now. Anyways, over the last 9 games, 50 points he has scored in points league. So, like I said, he bats every day, plays every day now. He's batting second or third in the lineup, so he's going to get lots of at-bats. Each of the last 7 games, he's batting second or third. He has a 7-game hit streak, and he has a 9-game streak where he's reached base 9 games straight. He's batting 300 with 13 RBIs, 7 walks, 8 runs, and 5 home runs. Okay? Unbelievable. In the last 9 games, that's what he's doing. 300. Is he going to keep doing this? Well, not if I pick him up. He won't. If someone else gets him, he probably will. So, another first baseman that everybody always just, you know what? I'd like to call Jim Bowden on the phone and be like, hey, remember when I said that Albert Pujols is worth putting on your team? And you laughed at me and you were like, no, Albert Pujols. He's a shell of his former self. Yes, he is a shell of his former self, and his batting average stinks, okay? He's not going to have a great batting average. In fact, his batting average is horrific, but it runs right in line with the rest of Major League Baseball. I will say this. He is working towards some serious milestones in his career. This is the last season of his, I don't know, like billions of dollars, $250 million 10-year deal that he signed. He already got his bonus for reaching 3,000 hits, but he needs 115 games. There's 135 games left in this season. He needs 118 to reach 3,000 games played in his career. And that, to me, is a big deal. Now, Albert Pujols is playing. So you would say, but where's Jared Walsh playing? Well, he moved to the outfield. He's mostly playing in the right field spot, and Pujols is playing first base. I know Shohei Ohtani gets a spot too because he is hitting like crazy also. But I have to say, Albert Pujols deserves credit because he has found his way into the starting lineup 6 out of the last 7 games, right along with Jared Walsh and Ohtani. They all find a way to get in the lineup. This is the very last year of his contract. He has, his career is probably going to come to an end. I've never seen him in such good shape I can't say that I've never seen him in such good shape, but not in a while. He's in great physical shape. He is not struggling with problems that he's had in the past with plantar fasciitis, and that is a really serious injury that caused him a lot of pain, and he was not playing well. His batting average will never be good again. It's 220, but is that even that bad? Is it 220? It might be less. 211. Fine. He still has 5 home runs on the season and 12 RBIs, 9 runs, and that is in 76 plate appearances. He's playing every single day. I don't care. You guys could say what you want, but I respect him so much, and I obviously have a bias towards him. So, like I say, at least I admit it. I have a bias towards Albert Pujols. I respect him totally as a baseball player. I think that he's going to continue getting in the lineup every day as long as he keeps hitting, and he has been hitting, okay? Brandon Belt is another one. So there's quite a few first basemen. I only bring up Brandon Belt because for some reason he's not being rostered, and I think I know why. I think it's because he did not start the season on time. He was struggling because he had heel surgery, but now he's starting to pick things up. He bats right in the middle of the order, people. He bats right in the middle of the order, okay? He plays most every day. He does sit against left-handed pitching, not all the time, but quite a bit of the time, okay? So don't put him in ever in your DFS if he's going up against a lefty. His contact rate is down immensely. It's from 75.8% to 62.1% this season. He's striking out 30% of the time when normally he strikes out like 23% of the time. But like I said, he's still like starting to get into the situation because he did not have any spring training. He's been dealing with recovering from heel surgery. So he did actually miss a couple days recently with quad tightness. So I'm like going way over. Look at this. All right. Anyway, whatever if I go over. You guys don't have anything else to do on a Saturday afternoon, right? Douglas, do you have anything to do? Malpal, Matt Hooper, I love it. So nice to see you. Everybody's here. Malpal, good. Big Al is here too. I forgot about Big Al. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Okay, second base. Rougned Odor is the guy to pick up this week. He's been playing in 6 of the last 7 games, and absolutely you cannot really. Here's the deal. The bad news first, okay? What's his batting average? That's always the bad news with him. But actually, you should be pleasantly surprised with Odor. The last 8 games, he's batting 259 is like the highest batting average I've ever seen for Odor. But he's still striking out. Anyway, he's got 3 home runs in the last 8 games, 8 RBIs. He's not messing around. He's playing second base. He should qualify at first base too. Let's see. He's reached base 7 of the last 8, and he has, I already told you, 3 home runs. If his bat cools off, you can expect him to start sitting down against righties. Okay, but he's hot right now, and they don't have anybody else that's hitting any better. So, if you can stand his batting average is 259 over the last 8 games, but it's 192 overall. It's not a surprise though. Okay, Odor is going to be that type of player that you stream on good weeks and you get rid of when he starts doing bad, because he will. But he's always going to hit home runs. We're pretty sure about that. So this week, the Yankees face Houston, Washington, and Tampa Bay. I don't know why I put that in there, but Nico Horner is also on my list for second base, player. Nico Horner qualifies at second, shortstop, and third base. He plays all over the infield, okay? So, corner, middle, whatever. He bats at the bottom of the order. I already told you this. He's a pure hitter. Just know this. When somebody says that a batter is a pure hitter, you know then that they are probably not going to do much for you in fantasy baseball, because pure hitters do not score points. There's no points for pure hitting, but he is a pure hitter, meaning that he has good plate discipline. He can get on base. He has a good eye at the plate. He could maybe take a walk. I know he could take a walk. Okay, in the last 7 games, he's walked 5 times. He's got it just in the last 7 games. His batting average is 250, but he's very, very young. He's 24 years old. He's played. Look, he had 82 plate appearances for Chicago in 2019 and 125 last year. We know what he could do. We know what he can do. And home runs are not part of the package here, and neither are not many stolen bases. But he does have one this year. 1 stolen base so far this season in 35 plate appearances, 9 games. In the last 7 games, he has 29 plate appearances. He's playing pretty much every day. He was filling in for Javi Baez for a little bit while Baez was out, but now he stayed in the lineup. When Baez returned, he just shifted over to second base. Now he's taking at bats away from David Bote and Eric Sogard, and he will continue to do that as long as he keeps hitting. Another guy for second base, if you need a second baseman, Josh Rojas, who the only reason I have him on a team still is because it's a National League only, and I told you that I have like all these injured players on my National League team, so I had to keep him on there active. This is a guy that was so bad starting the season, but we thought he could be good, because here's the deal with Josh Rojas, okay? He has hit homers in the last 2 games. Each of the last 2 games, he's hit a home run. Now, he's playing right field right now for Cole Calhoun. But in 2019, across 4 different minor league levels, in 2019, okay, in 146 games, 25 home runs, and 37 stolen bases. That's just unheard of, okay? I'm sorry. Nobody's talking about it. He should be getting more love. 99 RBIs and 116 runs scored. You never hear that for minor league players. Usually when people are ranting and raving over minor league players, you look at their stats and you're like, what? Big deal. He hit like 15 homers and like stole a couple bases in a full season, okay? No, this guy across 4 levels in 2019, 25 homers, 37 stolen bases, 116 runs scored, and 99 RBIs. That is unbelievable. He definitely has, I mean, you can look right at his stats and say like he's got something. He definitely can steal. He puts Joe Adele to shame, okay? Pardon me. That's why I put explicit language on my podcast, because sometimes I curse. That's just the way it works. Right? Okay, the last 10 games, Josh Rojas. batting 345 with 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, a stolen base, and 8 runs, and a 406 on base percentage. So he has definitely turned it around. Okay. Now on the season, he is still batting 200, but things are looking up big time for this guy. And in fact, for the whole Arizona team, they're starting to look up for their hitters at least. Okay. The hitters are starting to hit. Now, Josh Rojas has not been able to make this happen in the major leagues. In 2020, he batted 160 in 17 games that he played in. He batted 160. Okay. So he has not been great over in the major leagues. Like, this is not translated much into the majors, but he did it in the minors. So we will see. Keep your expectations mediocre for this guy, but he started off the season so bad that anything is an improvement. And there you go. Another guy that you could possibly put on your team if you are in need is John Birdie, because I'm sure that people have given up on John Birdie already. He's been horrible this season. He hasn't stolen any bases. Okay, that's what you expect out of Birdie, no doubt about it. You expect him to steal lots of bases, and you do not expect him to hit for home runs, but that's what he's doing, just exactly the opposite of what you expect. He's reached base 9 out of the last 10 games, though. He started off the season horrible. No stolen bases, but he has been caught stealing, so he is trying to steal bases at least, and he hit 2 home runs in the past 10 games, 3 RBIs. Now, he plays every day, that's for sure. He plays every day. I told you he reached base in 9 of the last 10, but in the last 10 games, like, he's played 8 games at second base this season, 10 games at third base, and 1 game in the outfield. He is like the ultimate utility guy. So is look, these guys that they qualify everywhere. Like Nico Horner qualifies second, short, and third. Josh Rojas, second, short, outfield. Birdie, I don't know where he qualifies. At least he qualifies at second and third. He probably will qualify in outfield before too long, and depending on what he did last year, like these guys, these middle infielders, they qualify everywhere. So it's very nice and very convenient for your roster. Moving on to shortstop, Jose Iglesias plays every day. He's not flashy. He's a set it and forget it type of player. He plays every day. He bats, I don't know, down at the bottom of the order, so that's not exciting. But he has reached base in 10 of the last 12 games, batting 304 with 2 home runs and 7 runs, 1 stolen base, and 4 RBIs in the last 12 games. He's not flashy, but he will play, and he will help your batting average, guaranteed, and he will help your on-base percentage. And he used to have the best defensive in the league, so I don't think he does anymore, but he used to. Anyways, getting in the lineup, so that's how it works. Brandon Crawford is another one that nobody really likes. It's like Brandon Crawford, I want to say San Francisco, but like, there's several San Francisco hitters that nobody in fantasy pays a lot of attention to. They just get ignored every year on draft day, and they're consistent all the time. Brandon Crawford is not exciting. He's not somebody that got drafted on a lot of leagues. I don't think he is, but in deep leagues, I'm sure he did. But okay, he was out for a little bit. He had a quad problem, but he missed a few games. Now he's back, batting 375 in the 3 games that he's been back. He has 4 home runs on the season with 10 RBIs and 2 stolen bases, and he's not a stolen base guy, so don't get excited about that, especially now that he hurt his quad. So he definitely is probably not going to be stealing bases that much. He's 34 years old. So, I mean, look, he has a 205 batting average overall, but in the last few games, the last 3 games, it's 375. He will hit homers. He bats like 5th, 6th, or 7th in the order, so it's not great spot in the batting lineup, but plays every day. Here we go. That's somebody that will play. Not exciting, but he is what he is. I put him on here. A guy at third base. Now, you know that third base pickings are pretty slim when you have to put Matt Carpenter on the list to pick up, okay? Matt Carpenter. Now, it's unbelievable because you look at the lineup. When I put these lists together for who to pick up, okay, this week, I always go through and look at where they're hitting in the lineup. How many times have they been in the batting lineup for the last 7 days? Like, are they in there, lots of times? Matt Carpenter's not been in the batting lineup at all. He's not even the starter at all. He is hitting pinch. He's a pinch hitter, and he's hitting home runs. He's hit home runs in uh 2 days in a row that he's been a pinch hitter. He drove in 6. So when you look at like who to pick up at third base, and I look at like the recent stats, I can say, oh, over the last however many 7 days or whatever, he keeps showing up. Because in the last couple days, he's hit 2 home runs with 6 RBIs. That's why he's showing up. He's batting 116 on the season, okay, with a 250 on base percentage. But he has 3 home runs and 10 RBIs, so you'd think he's in playing every day. Maybe he needs to just be benched. Maybe he needs some rest. I don't know what it is, but last year he batted less than 200 too. In 50 games, age 35. He's probably not going to be great. I had to put him on the list though because he's worth a mention, right? So Matt Carpenter getting home runs as a pinch hitter. The other guy is Asdrubal Cabrera. He's played 5 of the last 7 games at third base. He's batting third in the order. He is not flashy. Sometimes he plays first base, but he 2 home runs so far, but he where he shines is the runs and the RBIs. That is where he shines. He has 14 runs and 12 RBIs. He's batting 257. He's set it, forget it. 385 on base percentage. That is way higher than the normal average of people that you will find on the waiver. He's in the last 6 games, he's batting 438. He walks. He takes walks. That's why his on base percentage is wonderful. So just saying, the guy is 35, 36 years old. He's not going to steal bases at all. He will hit a few home runs, nothing special, but he will get runs and he will get RBIs. And if that's what you need, then by all means. Okay, let's talk about some 2-start pitchers. And yeah, 6 RBIs in the last 2 at bats. That's because he's pinch hitting now. So maybe he's better as a pinch hitter. Maybe he gets tired and he needs rest. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Chris Rodriguez. You cannot give up, Matt Hooper. You cannot give up. What the hell are you doing giving up this early in the season? That is so, it's just, first of all, you can't even give up when it's All-Star break time. You can't give up. You could, okay, I would probably not bitch at you if you gave up then. But acting like you've given up in your leagues is so bad for the league. It is bad all over the place. This is not football. There's many more time. There's much more time. You do not give up because what do they say? What is it? Something about I don't know. Quitters never win and winners never quit. That's you can't win if you quit. That's what we do know for sure. And you definitely can't win if you quit. So let's talk about some 2-star pitchers that maybe you could stream and take advantage of the rules in your league. If you have rules that are not normal rules like you do, Matt Hooper, I don't know if this is the league that you're talking about, but this league only allows 1 injured player on the roster to be on the injured list. So either you have to have an injured guy on the bench or you have to drop him. And so that then, in a positive note, okay, you could look at it like the fact that now every time, there's so many players available to pick up, guys that would never be available in normal leagues, that you could keep an eye on who's coming off the injured list and you can grab them right before their start and you can put them in your roster and you could go, holy moly, I just picked up so-and-so. I mean, Dinelson Lamet would have been perfect if he would have stayed healthy, which he didn't. But what's the big loss? You just throw him back and you get someone else, okay? Take advantage of the rules in your league and use those to your advantage. Use them to your advantage. So if they suck, they suck. The rules suck, but you can use them and devise your strategy based on those rules and you can win. Believe me, no giving up. No giving up at all right now. No. Let's talk about 2-star pitchers. There's some coming up this week that are worth picking up, and then we'll be done for the day. Class will be over. Okay. Huascar Inoa. I don't know how to say his name, okay? I still don't know. It's Huascar. I know that part, and then I don't know how to say his last name. Douglas knows, so whatever it is. You know who he is. He's a pitcher for Atlanta. He's going up against Washington. He's going to face Joe Ross at Washington. And the second start I really hate with this guy, but I bring him up anyways because he's had, first of all, he's made let's say 5 starts because his first outing, he only pitched 1 inning. So I doubt he was a starter that day, but he's had 5 starts. He's pitched at least 5 innings, 4 of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 or 5, he's gone at least 5 innings. That's really good. Last outing, he pitched against Chicago, 5 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He strikes out a decent amount of batters, okay? The problem is that it took him 101 pitches to get through 16 outs. That's crazy. That is not being efficient with your pitch count at all. But he has at least 5 strikeouts in 5 of 6, including 2 where he struck out 9 or 10. His batting or his ERA on the season is 2.96. So, like I said, he's going to Washington. I'm cool with that one. Okay. He has pitched against Washington one time this season already. On April 7th, he went to Washington. So, the same thing he's doing Monday. Against Washington, he threw 5 innings and he didn't allow any runs. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, like Washington is one of those teams that could just like turn it on at any given moment. So we'll see what happens. But the next guy, I would definitely not pitch him against Aaron Nola. I just wouldn't. Although he has pitched against Philly too this season. He's going to pitch at home this time. Last time he faced him was on the road, and he only made it through 1 inning. I think he was the opener that day because he didn't allow any runs. So there was no reason to like kick him off the mound. But I do think that because it was his first start in the main, whatever, it was brand new, right? So he only went 1 inning against Philly, but like I said, it was pretty much 1 hit and that's it. So I don't think that it had anything to do with how well he was pitching. It was just that they used an opener that day. I don't think they're going to do that anymore because he's pitching 5 innings, 6 innings each time he goes out there, and I do think he will continue to do that. Nick Pivetta is the second 2-star pitcher on the list. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful matchup that we have here with Nick Pivetta if he's still available. I don't know how many leagues he's available in, like, because he was not a good pitcher going into this season. And I mean, I doubt he got drafted, but I'm sure he's been picked up in a good chunk of leagues because he has a 2.81 ERA on the season and a 1.25 whip, 25 strikeouts to 17 walks across 25 2/3 innings, 5 starts this season. He's got a problem with walks, but he's been able to get around that. That's not going to last forever. When you allow people on the base pass, they're going to score eventually. So the fact that he walks a lot of batters is a problem. But let's not think about that this week because this week he goes up against Detroit at home, Casey Mize, and then he goes to Baltimore and faces Dean Kramer, which has been, he can't even make it through 3 innings, okay? So that's what we're dealing with Nick Pivetta. Now, Nick Pivetta is having a good season. He has a 2.81 ERA on the season. That's why I think he's probably been picked up in a lot of leagues. But I don't really need to convince you why to pick him up. Anyway, he's got 2 starts. So if he's available, that would be a good idea to pick him up. And just feel free to drop him anytime he starts stinking because he probably will blow up at some point in the near future. Maybe not. Probably, though. Adrian Hauser is going to Philly. He's going to pitch against Matt Moore. And then he's going to Miami where it's a pitcher's heaven, and he's pitching up against Nick Nieder. I don't know. Anyways, Adrian Hauser is okay. He's got a 3.65 ERA on the season. He walks too many batters, but he has, let's see, 5 starts on the season. 3 out of 5, he's gone 5 innings. The other 2, he only made it 4 innings, but that was against San Diego one time, and that was just, San Diego was a tough team, okay? But his last outing, he pitched against Miami at home. He made it 5 2/3, 1 home run allowed, 7 strikeouts, though, and he got the win. So Adrian Hauser, he has allowed the leadoff batter to get on base in 5 of 6 innings that he came out for. That was his last start, but he was able to limit the damage. Okay, he only walked 1. So he did get the win. And the Marlins, it's like, I don't know with Adrian Hauser. It seems like it takes him every time he goes out there to pitch another inning, he allows runners on immediately. It's like getting behind in the count constantly. Anyway, it was a season high 7 strikeouts for him, and he's held the opposing offense to 3 runs or less in all 5 starts this season. So, like I said, a 3.65 ERA. He's going up against Philly, Matt Moore. If it was Aaron Nola, I would say no, but Matt Moore is not good. I don't think he's good. And Miami. So he's away for both of those. Milwaukee leads the National League Centrals. We already talked about that. Okay, moving on. J.A. Happ has 2 starts, and I'm not a big fan of J.A. Happ, but you know what? This is all about the matchups. You don't have to keep him on your team. He is pitching against Texas at home, okay? And then, hold on. He's pitching against Texas at home, and then he's going to Detroit, and he gets to pitch up against Casey Mize, okay? So he's home against Texas and at Detroit. Last outing. See, Happ is having a great season. He earned the win at Cleveland after giving up 2 runs on 4 hits with 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. You know he can't strike any batters out, but he has a 1.96 ERA on the season with a .83 whip. He's got 13 strikeouts and 7 walks in 23 innings, okay? 4 starts so far. He makes it last 2 outings. He's pitched 7 innings, each one. 2 earned runs total in the last 2 outings, okay? And he doesn't strike out a lot, but he will make it through 7 innings. Are you kidding me? That is a points that will accumulate points, okay? J.A. Happ is probably available in your league. Moving on. Cole Irvin, Oakland pitcher. He's probably picked up on a lot of leagues, but maybe not. I don't know. So far, he's had 5 starts. He has pitched at least 5 1/3, 4 out of 5. All 4, his last 4, he's been very good. His last outing went 6 innings. I do not like his matchups too much, okay? But I just wanted to mention him because he's actually having a good season. He's going up against Toronto at home and against Tampa Bay. They're both at Oakland. I don't know. That's kind of risky. I'd probably rather have J.A. Happ on my team. I don't know. Out of everybody on this list so far, I would probably take Nick Pivetta over anybody so far. And then we have my friend Justin Dunn, Seattle. Actually, I think I'll take Justin Dunn over any of these other guys that we talked about so far. The reason is because he's pitching against Baltimore at home. Seattle is a wonderful ballpark for pitchers once again. And then he's going to Texas, where Texas cannot win games. He faces Kyle Gibson, but I still will absolutely give him a shot. He's pitched the last 3 outings. He's gone 5 innings at least. He strikes out a decent number of batters. His last outing was not great at Houston, but he pitched 5 2/3 still, 4 hits, and 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. But I have to say, I'm not kidding. Justin Dunn is not bad, and you might want to keep him on your roster moving forward. He's not just a streamer. I really think that he is going to be a decent pitcher. Like, he's still, I don't know, he's 20, I think he's 25 years old. He's not old. He's not an older pitcher, so he's still kind of new and young, but he's getting better, and I will say that I think he's a good pitcher. So on the season, he has 16 strikeouts in 20 innings pitched, but he's walking so many, okay? He cannot walk this many batters. 13 walks in 20 innings. That's not a good walk ratio. But Seattle will help him. Seattle, I think this is the best matchup for 2-star pitchers so far this week. We're almost done. We're done. I think we're done. You guys want to talk about the relievers, though? Just real quick, I'll go through some relieving pitchers. I think that definitely not Matt Moore. Lamet throwing bullpens. Okay, if anybody has Lamet still on their team, I guarantee Matt Hooper does not have Lamet on his team. Okay. Pitchers are for my 12-team league. Your ESPN league sucks too. I'm just talking about what you said, because you said you pretty much quit your league, and I say that is a horrible way to think. Johan Oviedo, Big Al picked him up. Yeah, so I hope that I could help you guys. I hope that I could help you come up with some players without you having to do too much work, okay? That's what my Saturday baseball show does for you guys, trying to help you come up with some players. Okay, now we're looking at relievers here. I'm going to look at some relief pitchers real quick with you, because I don't have much to do, but it's been beautiful here in New York. It's been absolutely beautiful the last couple days. I know Lenny likes to sit outside, so I will let him do that in a minute. Josh Stomont, he's available in Tout Wars. I'm going to try to pick him up. See, my biggest thing about this is that, and this is a points league, so I highly doubt that he's available in most leagues. But in this particular league, you have to have 2 relievers active all the time. So I'm always looking for pitchers that qualify as a reliever but actually start, because points leagues, the innings pitched is a big deal. It's three points per inning. So you can have like a mediocre pitcher and you're still going to get more, good amount of points from that pitcher. But they did up the amount of points for saves. Then I think it's more than a win at this point, like 3 points more than a win. Anyway, he's available. I think probably the reason that he's available is because of just what I said. Everybody in this league is always targeting relievers that actually start. So like right now I have John Gant in there, and I did have Taylor Widener. He's back. He's on the DL right now. But okay, so let's talk about saves in the past 7 games. Saves. Stallmont. He is probably the closer in Kansas City. I can't even imagine who else could be the closer in Kansas City. Let's look. What's going on? It's Ian Kennedy. He was there. He's not there anymore. Greg Holland. Okay, so Greg Holland. Ian Kennedy pitches in Texas now, by the way. They don't get many save chances there because their team stinks. But he's been pitching okay. Obviously, you got to go for Stallmont. I don't even know how to say his name. Stallmont. Doesn't matter. He's on fire lately, and everybody knows it. He's not a secret. 5 strikeouts in 3 innings, in 3 saves, 32.4 points in this particular league. And so Kendall Graveman is another one. I'm sorry, Lenny, you might want to plug your ears for this one, okay? Kendall Graveman is listed as the closer in Seattle at this point. I know that he's not the everyday closer, and I do believe that they're going to split saves with Kenya Middleton, Rafael Montero. All 3 of these guys are going to get saves in Seattle. In San Francisco, obviously, it's Jake McGee, but Tyler Rogers, I'm telling you, if you're in a saves and holds league, he's probably already taken. He is crazy. He's my best reliever in the Dynasty League that we have, where we count saves and holds. He already has, is this the right? This says 3. He only has 3 holds. Who is this? I want to look this up real quick. I have one of my pitchers is just unbelievable. I'm like, holy crap, he's got like 11 already between saves and holds. I will find out. Just a minute. Saves and holds. Tyler Rogers. It says Tyler Rogers. So who did I just look up? Oh, Taylor Rogers I just looked up. Tyler Rogers is better than his brother. 10 saves and holds. 10. He has more than any of my other pitchers. Okay. So Tyler Rogers is worthy. All right, you guys, and I don't know who else, but let's see. So I am only just looking at my team here. I have Stephon Crichton. I have Lucas Sims. I have Tyler Rogers. I have Sergio Romo. I have all these guys on here. Michael Givens. But when you're in a saves and holds leagues, see, I can't tell the difference between saves and holds, which is a beautiful thing. You have 40 players or 50 players on your team in this league, and I like Josh Fleming. He's pitching today. Josh Fleming. I think he will be good if he's available. I would look at him, but he's obviously not getting 2-star. I didn't even really put any players on my list except for 2-star pitchers because it's Saturday, and I think that's what people are looking for. But for the season, he has a 1.23 ERA in 14 2/3 innings with 8 strikeouts and 1 win. He's played in 3 games. So Josh Fleming, though, last year in 2020, he had 5 wins last year in 7 games, 5 wins in 7 games, 32 1/3 innings. He had a 2.78 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP, 25 strikeouts. So I'm telling you, he is a decent pitcher, and we didn't really know, like, going into the season if he was going to be in the rotation. But I have to say, like, if you look at Malpal's formula, Josh Fleming, it would be to add the ground ball to the strikeout rate plus ground ball rate. 56.8 ground ball rate this season, but last season he had a 62.5% ground ball rate plus an 18.7% strikeout rate, which would add up to, if it's 70 or more, that tells you that the pitcher could be very good, right, Malpal? So like, he is pretty solid. He's not a huge strikeout guy, but he's a great ground ball pitcher. That's for real. And he keeps his walks down pretty good. Okay. They're not, his walks per 9 are less than 3. Last year they were less than 2. So that's always good. I'm just saying this pitcher, let's see what he's done. How many, he's still new. Okay. He's 25 now, but his last outings, 4 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings. So the last 2 out of the last 3, he has pitched at least 5 innings. I'm telling you, he could be okay, but he has 2 losses and only 1. I don't know if that's the team that lost. So he's 1-2. Yeah, he's 1-2 on the season, but he could be worth watching and worth picking up. He's not a bad pitcher. See where he's sitting in the depth chart, okay? Number 5. Number 5 overall. Okay. So anyways, I'm out. You guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy baseball. It's beautiful. Oh, Matt Hooper's getting a fridge today. We need a new fridge so bad too. Oh, it's like that. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that you're getting a new fridge. Like, that excites me because our fridge is so bad. Like, I just don't know if we're just going to wait until it completely dies to get a new fridge, but I just hate looking for fridges. And then I'm always like, when I'm ready to look, I'm like, I'll wait till one goes on sale, because certain times of the year they go on sale like big time. It's like one of those huge things that you buy when they're half off, like Labor Day or President's Day or whatever. And so I never do it. So I can only think, my mother just got a new fridge and it cost her like $3,000. And I'm like, we're not doing that. We're going to get a fridge for like 1,000, because I just don't see the point of getting a smart fridge. They have smart refrigerators. Like, what the hell does my refrigerator need to do on the internet? I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me, because the only job that a refrigerator has is to keep your food cold, right? You have a refrigerator and a freezer. If the only thing that they do is keep your food frozen on the freezer side and cold in the refrigerator side, what the hell do you need your fridge on the internet for, being a smart fridge, spying on you? Probably has cameras and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I just don't. They say, well, the Wi-Fi, right, is for in case you're out of town and you can like set your fridge while you're on the road. What the hell do I need to set my fridge for? It has one job. It's supposed to keep the food cold. That's what it does. I don't understand I just don't get it. Like, it makes no sense. Okay. No sense. But yeah, it should be fun. Congratulations on your new fridge. Thanks everybody for showing up. Love it. Douglas Boyle and everybody, Malpal. Okay. You guys have a great day, and we will chat soon. Oh, tomorrow, Douglas will be on at noon, and Lenny and I will be on 7 to 10 on Sirius. And you can get a free account for now, like a free trial if you want to listen to us. And then, of course, George will come on after Douglas. George will come on at 6:30, and that's always a fun show. In fact, we miss George at Saturday Baseball very much. We wish that he would be here. We absolutely are thinking of him. And then Lenny will come on Monday through Friday and do what he does. Have a great day.